Hi, it's Nicole. This is a wrap-up video for Shaketember 2023. Hosting Shaketember has been a new experience for me. I want to say thank you to Jason and Kelly for inviting me. Kelly is definitely the best host. She seemed to have watched and left comments on every Shaketember video before I got there. I tried my best to watch all the videos that have tagged me, but it's sometimes hard to keep up. I think I replied to all the comments under my videos at least. I'm sorry if I missed you. A fellow booktuber, Lisa from Lisa in Bookland, said, "Did you ever imagine you'd ever end up co-hosting Shaketember?" No, I'd never have imagined it. Thank you to all the booktubers who accepted our invitation to do the Shakespeare Journey tag or to read the plays. I discovered many new channels and met many new booktubers. Also, thank you for all the lovely people who watched my videos and left comments so I know who you are. It's been wonderful to meet so many people who read Shakespeare out there. I thought I might be the last one on earth who just discovered the joy and excitement of Shakespeare, but you guys proved me wrong and I'm so glad. I much prefer talking about Shakespeare and books, but in real life, people prefer talking about the weather in England, and no one seems to have time long enough to have a proper conversation, a proper discussion about reading. But you guys do, and I learned a lot from you and enjoyed reading your comments very much. So I'm going to highlight your comments from the 4 Shaketember videos plus the announcement video from a while back. Because you guys are interesting to listen to, enthusiastic about Shakespeare and thoughtful in your reading in general. Not to mention you are all extremely kind. I won't take many screenshots because there are so many comments. I hope that's okay. From the announcement videos, first of all, thank you so much for participating. Your excitement made me really excited too. And thank you for all the encouragement saying you believed I'd do a good job. I asked for your memorable acting stories. Bethy said, "In terms of acting, I did Tony Belch in 12th Night when I was about 12. Apparently, I played drunk very convincingly." Isabel said, "I actually did a theatre degree, so I'm pretty familiar with Old Shaky. I have played Demetrius from A Midsummer Night's Dream when I was at college. We put it on for children and toured primary schools. The kids were keen to shout out that I was clearly female and not male, which was always fun." And Patricia said, "I was in theatre for my entire high school experience. Shakespeare is my favourite author, Romeo and Juliet, my favourite play, followed by 12th Night, Taming of the Shrew, Much Ado About Nothing. Being in drama as I was, we had to learn speeches or soliloquy to perform in class for a grade." I put together some answers from the Shakespeare Journey tag. According to your comments, most of you read your first Shakespeare in school. Romeo and Juliet seems to be the most popular play in school, and a lot of you read it as teenagers. Other popular school choices are Hamlet, A Midsummer Night's Dream, Macbeth, Julius Caesar, and The Taming of the Shrew. Very few people actually cried reading Shakespeare, but many did watching films or shows. The question about who played a significant role in your Shakespeare journey, I love a couple of booktubers said Shakespeare. That made me laugh. Other answers include college professors, school teachers, mother, friend, and the Shaketember community on BookTube. I forgot to say that in my video. That's definitely true. I learned so much participating in Shaketember. A few favorite books and films recommended by you that sound fabulous and I want to share with you all. Recommended by John, This is Shakespeare by Emma Smith. I think she does a marvelous job writing with enthusiasm about Shakespeare's work for a general audience in a fun and unpretentious manner. Her idea about the gappiness inherent in Shakespeare's work is a helpful way of encouraging students to realize that the plays are infinite in possible stagings, interpretations. Marjorie Garber's Shakespeare After All is the best play-by-play guide. Lana recommended a few things, but this one I've never heard of, which is a 70s British movie starring Vincent Price and Diana Rigg called Theatre of Blood. It's about a Shakespearean actor who takes his revenge on the critics who wrote negative reviews of his performances. B recommended Shakespeare Saved My Life, 10 Years in Solitary with the Bard, which is a 2013 memoir from Laura Bates about her experience teaching the works of Shakespeare to prison inmates. Charles recommended James Shapiro's 1606, William Shakespeare and the Year of Lear, the year in which he also wrote Macbeth and Antony and Cleopatra. Yes, 100%. I recommend 1599 by James Shapiro as well. Donald recommended All Is True, Shakespeare in Love, and Looking for Richard. These are films. Donald always has the most fantastic, fascinating recommendations. Bethy recommended My Shakespeare by Greg Dorham. She described it as a lovely mix of autobiography and just pure love for Shakespeare, which I just read as well. Next question is, which character resembles you? This was my favorite question. I loved hearing your answers. John said, I've been thinking / writing about As You Like It lately, and I've found Jakes to be a fascinating character. I see him as wanting to embody the freedom of the fool without actually being one. I see a bit of Hamlet in him as well. I find myself vehemently disagreeing with commentators who write negatively about him, and the fact that I feel offended on behalf of a fictional character likely suggests there's some kinship there. Christina said, I basically am Hamlet, angsty and indecisive and incessantly thinking and overthinking. I'm also very theatrical / dramatic, so have a touch of Richard II. I love it. B's answer was really lovely. I'm most like the nurse in Romeo and Juliet, I think, content to be a supporting character who deeply loves her daughter and would do anything for her. Same with my son, her son. I too have a romantic heart. I have a less crude sense of humor, but I love to make my family laugh. I am good-natured as I think the nurse is. Also, she and I struggle with our weight. We both worry about our loved ones. But she said she would definitely not have told Juliet to marry Paris because her daughter got happily engaged last month to her soulmate. Congratulations! Next question. Most of you would like to watch something you haven't seen before, which is fair enough. I love Jim's answer. Love Labour's One because it's a lost play. Wouldn't we all want to watch that too? And who would you like to play Hamlet? John said Richard Burbage, if only to see what it was like to see a Shakespeare play at the original Globe Theatre. Such a great answer, wouldn't we all want to watch that too? I said Ben Whishaw in my video, but I now have another candidate. I want to watch Sarah Siddons playing Hamlet. I only learnt about this 18th century actress, Sarah Siddons, in July when I was reading The Genius of Jane Austen. She was famous for playing Lady Macbeth. According to Wikipedia, she also played the role of Hamlet multiple times over 3 decades. Christina named Sarah Siddons too. She also mentioned Sarah Bernhardt, which was the choice of a few booktubers. For the favorite speech, I love how none of the speeches was repeated. Everyone chose a different one. Shakespeare is such a great treasure trove. For the intimidating play choice, you are either intimidated by all of them, or none of them, or the history plays. Titus Andronicus, Coriolanus, Antony and Cleopatra also got named. Question 10 is, what tips would you give to beginners reading Shakespeare for the first time? A few lifelong Shakespeare lovers immediately said, don't read at all, which I found quite funny. Watching films and shows is definitely the #1 tip, and I fully agree. Your favorite plays include Macbeth, Hamlet, A Midsummer Night's Dream, King Lear, Henry VI, Part 1 and 2, and Richard III. That's the Shakespeare Journey Tag video. In addition to your super interesting answers, I'm really glad you enjoyed Lake District. Now the plays. For Romeo and Juliet, to my surprise, the general feeling is quite similar and it's not positive. Obviously, this is not a scientific experiment. I'm sure many people love Romeo and Juliet, but overall in the comments under the video, the feeling towards Romeo and Juliet is underwhelmed, not a favorite, over the top, and never liked it. I reckon people who love Romeo and Juliet just didn't leave a comment because you are all too nice to disagree. Christina said, your perspective is so interesting. Thank you. Because today I was just thinking how Romeo and Juliet is a play that I much prefer reading because I can appreciate the beauty of its poetry. But I just can't muster up much enthusiasm for seeing it performed, and I've seen several excellent productions. Yet I can't quite figure out why I feel so blah about watching it. I've seen the ballet several times as well, and probably prefer that version. I have to highlight Donald Kelly. He says, if everyone in Romeo and Juliet seems over the top, keep in mind it's relatively early in his career. Shakespeare was going for the box office. I think this is the same period as Titus Andronicus, and that's a bloodbath. Also, the title characters are idiots. Knowledgeable, forgiving, and brutal all at the same time. I don't want to read too deep between the lines, but Ned seemed to be not against love to the point of madness. And he asked a brilliant question. Who is more insane, Romeo and Juliet or the Macbeth? I love it. Both pretty insane, I'd say, in different ways, obviously. What do you think? My call to action is definitely to watch the young Leonardo DiCaprio film. My interpretation of Richard III was probably a bit different to the traditional views. I'm glad you thought my ideas interesting food for thought, and you had some sympathy for this villain too, and didn't shoot me down immediately for talking nonsense. I really appreciate it. We talked a lot about the Hollow Crown TV series. I found out since that both seasons of the Hollow Crown are available on Apple TV. If you are interested, maybe try watch it there. Richard III was the most intimidating for me between the three before I started, and it probably ended up my favorite. Thanks again to Kelly for choosing it. For Antony and Cleopatra, a lot of you also noticed the two locations, the two worlds, and the two sets of values. We asked if we would have so much interest in Cleopatra now if Shakespeare had not written such a good play about her. That reminded me something Harold Bloom said. I didn't get much out of his essay on this play, but it did struck me when he says, the archetype of the star, the world's first celebrity, she is beyond her lovers, Pompey, Caesar, Antony, because they are known only for their achievements and their final tragedies. She has and needs no achievements. Her death is triumphant rather than tragic, and she forever is known best for being well known. Two things before I go, I have a suggestion for you. Because you are all such lovely people, I think you might enjoy each other's company too. When you leave me a comment, maybe have a quick glance at other people's comments. You might find like-minded friends there and have a great conversation. Plus, there are always great recommendations for film adaptations, books, and YouTube channels. B just saw 6 Shakespeare's folios on display in a library in New York. We think it's a special exhibition for the 400th anniversary of the publication of the first folio. If you are interested, at the moment there are first folios on display for this special occasion all over the world. Don't miss the opportunity. I'm really glad you enjoyed Shaketember. A lot of you commented that this was your first one. Thank you for letting me know that you had a good experience. That's all for today. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next one.